Welcome to Taper Talks. In our corner of the digital world, we delve into the often misunderstood and challenging journey of tapering off prescribed medications and reveal stories of prescribed harm shared by those who have experienced it firsthand. Each episode is a step towards understanding, healing, and empowerment. We also share tips, information, and resources to help you become more informed, and every episode ends with a calming practice to soothe your nervous system, which can help reduce symptoms. Whether supporting a friend, exploring a wellness journey, or somewhere in between, the most important thing to hold on to is hope. No one can take this journey for you, but someone who has been down the path can take it with you. You are not alone. So let's step onto the path together, one episode at a time. During my taper journey, I became close to a few people in online support groups who were going through the same experience as I was. One supportive and compassionate friend that I still connect with online over 6 years later is Susan. This is part 2 of her story, one of caution, unsettling truths, and hope. Please note, suicide is mentioned in this story. Susan has asked me to read her story. My tapering process was terribly slow. A few people in the group thought I was dragging it out, but we know our own bodies and what we can handle. Everyone's experience is different. Some can taper quickly, some very slowly, and some aren't able to manage it well. Our body chemistries vary, and we have different exposures to medications and environments. What might be simple or easy for one person can be incredibly challenging for another. And to this point, an online support group admin, Katie L., was tapering Cymbalta, her last drug, and went too quickly at the end. She was suffering immensely and had to leave her group. Then it shut down. She posted in the Cymbalta group and told of her struggles and then just disappeared. I later found that she had passed away. Stephen P. came down with pneumonia, said he would be gone for a few days, and never came back. I'm worried about him as well. Also, Becky B. removed herself from the groups after she reinstated back to her original dose after tapering for 2.5 years. She was completely off for 5 months and had a setback. I worry about people who go missing after they have been suffering. After what happened to my friend Peggy, I can't help but be concerned. Peggy took her own life after her doctor told her that he was not going to prescribe her Valium prescription anymore. She had been forced to take it to mitigate the gabapentin withdrawal. He told her that he would drop her as a patient if she didn't follow his orders. She was down to 30 milligrams of gabapentin and had been slowly tapering the Valium. She was suffering terribly. She knew that she couldn't handle the cold turkey off the rest of her Valium, so she took her life. She was my taper buddy, and we messaged each other all the time for over 2 years. She never told me of her plans. In her suicide note, she wanted everyone to know that it was gabapentin that did this to her. Instead of their doctor supporting a slow, patient-based taper, both Peggy and Katie were prescribed other drugs to help with their withdrawals. That was a fatal mistake for both of them. The combination of those drugs led to their deaths in the end. Gabapentin, however, was the root cause. This is a tragedy. Some of the symptoms that I experienced before and during tapering were vision issues, hair loss, tooth decay, the depletion of the absorption of vitamins, severe gastrointestinal issues, brain fog, and neuropathy, which I never had before. The issues I had with shallow breathing while falling asleep was probably the scariest and most traumatic thing I have ever experienced. My breath became so shallow that I eventually stopped breathing and I would gasp for breath at the last second. Each time this happened, I worried that I wouldn't wake up as I went to sleep. And no, I didn't have sleep apnea, according to the sleep study I had. Fortunately, this hasn't happened in several years. As my brain and nervous system slowly healed, it went away gradually. I have not been able to tolerate supplements and medications that I had no problem with before, along with some foods. I hope someday to enjoy coffee again. I sometimes worry that people won't believe all of the things that happen to me and others like me and think that we're crazy, or that we're all extremists against the pharmaceutical industry. I know that lives have been saved by many drugs. I just think we need to research everything that goes into our bodies. If I had been told of the side effects before I took the drug, I would have reconsidered. I just want to be fully informed. I was not believed by my physician, who I had a great relationship with for years. However, my relationship with him deteriorated quickly when I told him what was happening to me because of this drug. Why? He had always listened to me before. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with endometrial cancer and subsequently had a complete hysterectomy and several lymph nodes removed to deter any spread. I was truly fortunate to have it all contained through surgery and didn't need any further treatment. It really means something when I say that what happened to me with gabapentin is the worst thing I ever went through, even after going through cancer. Looking back on what I experienced, it makes me realize how strong I am, and I never thought of myself as a strong person. When I think about the friends lost along the way, it makes me so sad and angry. They were strong people too. It was just too much to bear. Yet, this and many other drugs continue to be prescribed with little to no informed consent about the devastating and life-changing effects it could have on individuals' lives, especially when discontinuing it. So, I have made a commitment to myself that I will always do my own independent research on anything that may be prescribed to me from here on out. Final note, December 2024. Only a week ago, I celebrated the 5th anniversary of taking my final tiny dose of gabapentin, and the last time that this drug ever entered my body. Healing is happening, I am still here, and the nightmare is behind me. My message for listeners is this: if you are considering taking a prescribed drug, do your due diligence, which means do your own independent homework to make well-informed decisions in advance. If you are considering coming off a prescribed drug that causes brain dependency, the same goes for you. Don't assume anything. For those currently on a challenging taper, please keep hope alive. We all need hope to get through the hard times. There are resources and support groups available that have been listed on these podcasts. This could save your health. I want you to know that this is survivable and life is worth living. Most of us taper journey survivors have made it through and are living our lives, and our families are thankful we are here. Believe the ones who have gone before you. Choose life. Keep hope in your heart and never give up. As I continue on my healing journey, I'm focused on supporting those harmed by prescribed drugs. So I created my Drug Taper Journey, a series of 3 tapering journal support workbooks available on Amazon to aid others on this difficult path. These books include therapeutic activities, valuable resources, personal progress referencing, and symptom pattern detection to manage a protocol and create a record for yourself or your healthcare team. This is a blog post by James Heaney entitled Waves and Windows in SSRI Withdrawal. I'll include the blog link in the show notes. James talks about SSRI withdrawal specifically. However, withdrawal from brain dependency drugs often share similar symptoms in what is referred to in the withdrawal community as windows and waves. The date of this blog is January 31st, 2013. Tapering off an SSRI can be very difficult. It's not like the other ailments that have defined timelines and symptoms. When a doctor treats a broken bone, there are long-established milestones in recovery. SSRI withdrawal is different. Each case seems to be unique, with different lengths and severity of symptoms. One of the frustrating parts of withdrawal is the way that symptoms fluctuate over time. People call them waves and windows. At first, withdrawal is unremitting. There seems to be no respite from the symptoms. After some time, which varies from person to person, symptoms begin to break up into cycles. There are times when symptoms aren't as bad, and other times when they are quite severe. It's not a universal pattern. Some patients find that they have constant symptoms that slowly go away. The wave and window pattern seems to be the majority, though. Waves describes those times when symptoms are more severe. Symptoms can be physical or emotional. It feels like getting sick. When you start to get a cold, you can feel little changes that foreshadow the illness. A sore throat or headache, then the full symptoms of the cold start in a day or two. A wave has similar precursors. Usually, physical symptoms are the first sign that a wave is coming. A stiff neck, headaches, and dizziness are some of the symptoms. A day or two later, the emotional symptoms become more pronounced. These symptoms can include obsessive or compulsive thoughts, depression, or anxiety. It can be helpful to break waves up into different parts. Knowing that each part of a wave is coming and what to expect next could make the whole process easier to handle. The reason we're so adept at knowing the cycle of a cold is that we've had them off and on all of our lives. So we're well aware of the subtle changes in our bodies that tell us that we're getting sick. In the same way, it takes some experience before you can separate the parts of waves from each other. It takes still more time to develop ways of dealing with each part of a wave. Physical symptoms of a wave are hard to mitigate. There isn't much you can do about general joint pain, headaches, or dizziness. You can try analgesics like aspirin or ibuprofen, but those aches are fairly resistant to those kinds of painkillers. Dizziness is likewise difficult to deal with. Withdrawal dizziness isn't just something that happens when you stand up or spin around. It's hard to believe that you can feel dizzy when you lie down, but it happens in withdrawal. Try to stay as still as possible until it gets better. Try to use the physical symptoms as a sign that there may be new symptoms coming that you need to deal with. There really isn't any way to avoid the emotional symptom of a wave. There is no way to suck it up and get over it. Our minds create our reality in a fluid way. The anxiety, depression, and obsessions of a wave are just as real as the screen in front of you. The fact that our rational mind would recognize that it's not real or overblown doesn't mean much when you're experiencing it. That's the essence of a wave. It's not rational or thoughtful. Obsessive thoughts can be about almost anything from the benign to the surreal. Self-harm can suddenly seem like a rational idea. In normal thought, the entire spectrum of emotions are right below the surface. When you're cut off in traffic, you have several choices. You can ignore it, respond verbally or visually, speed up or slow down. Even the psychotic is present in that moment. We've been so accustomed to suppressing psychotic thoughts that we don't even realize that the idea of ramming the other car didn't rise up to our conscious minds. In withdrawal, those thoughts that would normally be dismissed without a thought gain the same weight in our conscious minds as socially acceptable thoughts. The only way to mitigate the emotional symptoms of a wave is to be mindful of the difference between normal thought and the unnatural power that irrational thought has in a wave. It's very hard to pick apart which thoughts are your normal responses and which ones are caused by the wave. They mingle together in a chaotic way. That's what makes your reaction to a window just as important as your reaction to a wave. Windows are periods of time when symptoms are not as pronounced as they were before. At first, it feels like it's over. You beat withdrawal, you're free. That's the cruel joke of SSRI withdrawal. Windows and waves are intertwined together. The way withdrawal works for most people is that the windows slowly, ever so slowly, get longer and the waves get shorter. A window is more than a vacation from symptoms, though. It's a huge relief to have some time off from feeling miserable. Savor the good times in withdrawal because that is what you have to look forward to in recovery. More than relief, though, windows are an opportunity to prepare yourself to deal with waves in a better way. Try to recognize the way that you automatically choose responses and thoughts. Emotionally, a window is a return to the normal way of parsing thoughts. Instead of allowing all thoughts to rise to consciousness, your mind automatically tunes out undesirable thoughts based on your personality. Paying attention to the process during a window makes it easier to impose that same kind of structure during the next wave. It's that mindfulness that you'll need during the next wave. After a while, you can tell when a thought is out of character and consciously dismiss it. Withdrawal is a process of alternating good times and bad. The more you're able to mitigate the bad with mindfulness, the shorter the waves become. Our minds often work in feedback loops. One thought leads to another through association, creating the pattern of our minds. Mindfulness allows us to shape the pattern to a certain extent. The more you can recognize that a harmful thought is just part of a wave and not a normal part of your normal mind, the faster you'll get to the next window. Eventually, that last window becomes reality, and the next wave never comes. The mindfulness you've developed getting there will remain, though. Let's take a nervous system break with a guided meditation. Begin by finding a comfortable position, seated or lying down. Whatever you experience during this breathing meditation is right for you. Don't try to make anything happen, just observe. Close your eyes or soften your gaze on one spot in the room. Roll your shoulders slowly forward 3 times. And then slowly back 3 times. Lower your left ear toward your left shoulder, taking a breath here, and then your right ear toward your right shoulder, taking a breath and coming back to center. As you inhale, lift both shoulders up toward your ears, and then release them down slowly as you exhale fully. Repeat this again. As you inhale, lift both shoulders up toward your ears and release them down gently as you exhale. And one more time on your own. Soften your jaw and forehead and let your hands relax. Your body will continue to relax as you settle in. Begin to observe your breathing, making no effort to change it. Simply notice your breath as it flows in and goes out. As you sit or lie quietly, visualize in your mind's eye your breath flowing gently in and out of your body. Perhaps as a color, as a shape, translucent or opaque. Just follow your breath journey in and out. When your attention wanders, as it will, just focus back again on your breathing. Noticing any thoughts that come up, but not engaging with them. Simply let the thoughts pass. And see how your breath continues to flow deeply, calmly. Notice the stages of your complete breath. From the inhale to the pause that follows, the exhale, and the pause before taking another breath. Relax into the slight pauses between each breath. Feel the air entering through your nose. Picture the breath as it flows through the nostrils and then down into your lungs. As thoughts intrude, allow them to pass and return your attention to your breathing. Feel the breath inside your body after you inhale, filling your body gently, and notice the expansion in the torso with the breath. Notice how that expansion releases as you exhale. Feeling the gentle rise and fall with each breath. And now, with your next inhale, count silently 1. As you exhale, count 1. Wait for the next breath and count again 1. Exhale 1. Inhale 1. Exhale 1. Breathing at your own comfortable pace. Continue to count each inhalation and exhalation as 1. Notice now how your body feels. See how calm and gentle your breathing is and how relaxed your body feels. Keeping your eyes closed or quiet as you return, notice the sounds around you. Feel the support beneath or behind you. Feel your clothes against your body. Slowly stretch open and then curl your fingers. Gently turn your head from side to side. Gently open your eyes and remain as you are for a few moments longer. Straighten out your legs and stretch your arms and legs gently. Sit for a few moments more, enjoying how relaxed you feel. And repeat to yourself, I am awake, I am aware, I am grateful. May I find balance within chaos. I release what no longer serves me. I love and respect all that I am and all that I am not. In silence, I find wisdom. I am fearless in my journey. Come back to this guided meditation anytime you wish. Thank you for listening all the way to the end of this episode. If you have a story to share, topics you'd like to see covered, or information to provide, please reach out to me at tapertalks@gmail.com. May we be at peace in our hearts, may we be at peace in our homes, and may we be at peace with one another. Remember, you're not alone, not now, not ever. Don't give up.